Aenga o letio Vake Tali Folau. Ai whakawhehokotaki-anga o Tonga i he kolope. This is Radio Vake Tali Folau, where Tongans can connect globally.
Malo mali au e ki pe malo lele e Tonga ko toa pe o kutai le ki mo tolu i he Hawani pe a mo e tau ngai Polokalama pe me San Francisco, California i e fia fitu site pe a koia tuk mo ke tau wakai ke tau Polokalama anga maheni pe o e fia fitu site ko toa pe ka ko e Polokalama koia a e tau lama ma a e Tonga pe a te utuka e pe whainga mali e heni ki a lea wha pe a mo e toi ngai kau whai Polokalama. Malo le fa. Katak le fa o unmute my katak.
Okay. Malo me li pe ko kore ke ufratap mo ke o tua mafi pe a tuku pe mo ke mau framal i tal fratap ko ia ko whakaaonga i he Vake Tali Folau i he letio. Pe koe Polokalama ngā mahini e taulama e Tonga ai o whaia i he e fiafi tū site o wiki hono kotoa pe me taimi walu ke taimi hiwa. Pe a hange pe koia o ku mautoka mea i koe mahina koe ko o katopa koe mahina ia o ku tokanga i kine ma kehe ai mo ui whakaatamai. Pea koe wike koe e tolu ai ko tui ko wike e tolu koe ko mariu atu na e whai ai Polokalama pe whekau aka pe mo ui whakaatamai. Pea ko toi whiawhia whoke koe ai kulupu i he whiawhini tolu i he whiawhi koe ni. Pea mei he koe kakokina tolu koe e kau mai ai o kau ai a salote lutui ko salote koe ki whine tonga ia pa koe kau ia i he kau konau mala e nau tolu ai mo ui whakaatamai. Pea pehe whoki ka Irish to a koe vei mau pea kai ke ngatai ka ako kau mai mo maata pea ako kau mai mo Kevin niwa atoa ko Kevin o ku kau ia me kai ngaha amoa pea ako kau mai pe mo Ruth tala moa ai o ku whanonga mai pe Ruth e peaf koe ni. Kai ke he koe whakawhiawhia au pito ai lawa ke he whet whakatahataha mai ke whakahoko ai Polokalama koe ni. Pea neongo o kui kai ke lava ke whakahoko kakatoin i rea whakatonga. Ka te mau whenga pe ho mau tuku inga tā koe haa ai mea koe e mahino. He kwhi mau whoki koe vahe ai kau whewhine pea moe ki tangata ko ia o e whiawhini o kwhi mau ia ke ao ngaia ke tau tolu koe ai kau whanongo. Pea neongo he ke mau lava o ai kakato i rea whakatonga pe ai kakato i rea whakahamoa. Ka ko mau tūku i ngata te mau whai akia pea whakaamu pe e iai ni ihi e mau ha lava ke tuwhia ki mea pea me he kakai koe ni oku nau whakahoko Polokalama e whiawhini. Ko ilo i koe whaingata ia ke te mau tolu ko oku mau whakau ngata ama ki whai ngau e koe ni e koe tokolahi o e whanki i ai kakai pe hange pe koe mau whanau o ku nau kau mai ke Polokalama ni o ku malohiang e nau rea Whakabritania e nau rea Whakatonga. Pako utui he kai ke tau lava ke tau tuhu pe koe fo ui mei whia. Ka koe mea peo tau ilo i koe mea pea ku hoko he tau whakapaia koe he whonuani koe tau whanau o koe ni ihi o ku rea Whakatonga le rei au pito e ni ihi o ku mahino pe rea Whakatonga ka kai ke lava ke rea mai pea ku tia rewa pea moe tokolahi o ku kai ke nau lava ke nau tolu o mahino pe te nau rea ke rea Whakatonga. Ka neongo ia o ku e whai pe ai tūku i ngata ke whai ai ki i ako pe koe vahe koe o whai koe i he whiawhi koe ni o whekau ake pea moe mo ui whakaatamai. Koe Polokalama koe ni na e whakahingoa ia e county koe ni o Alameda koe Talanoa for Wellness. Aia koe uhinga ai Polokalama ia koe po Talanoa. Ai koe ngahi Talanoa koe ni i anga koe e mau wakai i he whai mai Polokalama ni matu ake aonga au pito. He kula vai ke bete ange ai pōpula o ni ihi i hono mai koe o puke pe koe mo ui whakaatamai. ka lava ke fai ha po tala noa o whekau aki pia mo whahinga puke koe ni. Koe tahen ha whahinga puke o kunea o uesia au pito a ke tau tolu me he Pasifiki. Ka koe ui he koe whahinga puke na e mai pia manu ki na kai ke lava ke whakatau ataina ke lava o tala noa. Ke tau lava tala noa, ke tau lava vahe hangahi mea na e hoko ke tau tolu. Ha whahinga wheitu te tau lava o mao mea ha tau toko ni. Na kai ke lava, pe aku kei tai lava pe o au ke taimi. Ka aku ai whakakau hange koe county koe o Alameda, pe ke county ko San Mateo, pe ke ngai county koe o Atakai, San Francisco ke noa te, Santa Clara ki he sau te. O kui ai mahino, koe mo ui whakaata mai, koe mea oku lahi a e tau wesi ai, koe ngā pe koe ngahi ilo, mo ngahi toonga whakamatakari a ki tau tolu me ngai motu taha o tau hao me ai, ai o tau hanga rewa mai, pe o tau hanga manu ki. Pa o tau hanga fufui, ai puke whakaata mai. Ka koe whaka amu kono ohake koe ni ai whahinga puke koe ni, pe koe whahinga mahaki koe ni, ke tuku ki olunga ke tala noa i, pe te tau lava rewa, o whihanga hangai pe e lava ke me te angi ai aho tau pōpula, he tau mai koe e whahinga puke koe ni. Pea o pehe ai anga ai whakaamu, pe ko whakaamu pe e lava ke aha ki imea ke inasi ai, a ki mōtoro kau whanongo, o whikau ake pea moe puke whakaata mai, pe koe mo ui whakaata mai.
Oh, le wha. Before we go on, koe pete ke lava o introduce Toketa Mapapuloka. He's on.
Okay. Koe fo i ongongo whakawhiawhia au pito eni, talama e maata o ku kau mai a Toketa Mapapuloka ke polokalama koe ahoni. Pe koe tu o aini ai kau mai a Toketa Mapapuloka, pea o ku maukoloa ia e Toketa Puloka ka pao ke whanongo mai, mau koloa ia pa mau whiawhia, mau lau ko mau tāpuaki, ho a whea mai ai ki polokalama koe ni. Hange pēna aku lawe ki ai i ho uraki kau mai, koho mala e ni. Ko ki mau tolu o ku mau o mai pe, koe hae me aku mau tufi, me whanki ia ko mau kau ki ai, me ngai whitu o mau ngau e ai, pe aku mau hanga rewa o mai ia, ke whai aki ai pōtala noa koe ni moe kainga tonga, pe ke kainga Hamoa, kainga Fisi. Ai pa ngai kainga ko he Pasifiki o mau whenga oe aki. Ka koe taimi ko ke o mau lau koe fu tāpu aki lai whakaulia. Ai taimi ko ke kau mai ai he koho mala en. Pea ko ia, ko tui pe e iai ha mau ngahi whihui. Ka pau e whakaata mai ke mau hanga o eke atu. Hangahi me o mau whiwhiri ki ai. Na iai ai polo kala mai ana e os vahe ia ki he pōni. Pea pa tupe moa ke u fie kau atu. Ke saipe fai konga por kalama ko yaka tu mai mo ha konga o ki lahi ke aonga ai whainga maria ko o mai to ke ta mapaha ano puloka matauto. Iris, I don't know whether you understood my Tongan, but we are very fortunate this evening that we have Dr. Mapaha Ano Puloka. He's the only psychiatrist in Tonga. And he was part of this program about 3 programs ago, and we're very fortunate once again that he is with us. He's in the Zoom right now, and I'm excited, and I'm really truly grateful that he has given us the opportunity to be with us. So that means that for those of you that do not speak Tongan, you can ask any questions in English, and for those of you that do speak Tongan, you can ask your questions. But most of all, I would like for us to listen to whatever Dr. Mapa will be sharing with us, because we want to make use of every minute that he's giving us. Kai tuku mua ke hoko atpe ai polo kalama o hange koe whakatuutu koe nai whai mai. Iris, we're going to start off with the program the way you usually start the program. But we have Dr. Mapa Puloka with us, and I would like to give him as much time as we possibly can. Our program can be adjusted. We can do our program when he's not with us or when he doesn't have the opportunity to be with us. So whatever we're going to do, maybe at the beginning we'll do this, and then I would like to give him the time. Okay, Iris? Iris, are you listening?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. I will just go over, we've seen these before. Here's our disclaimer. I will show our disclaimer, and we've also talked about our program. What's really great about this program is that we also have our PEV team here. And I wanted to give them some time to introduce themselves. They are members of our PEV family, and they are mental health in the mental health space. And I will turn the time over to Salote and Kevin to quickly introduce themselves.
Okay, before you do that, Salote, Kevin, could you tell us what PEV stands for?
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you very much for the opportunity to be on the talk show this evening, especially given that we have a special guest that's online as well, the good doctor from the island. So want to say thank you very much. The Pacific Islander Wellness Initiative is the acronym for PEV, and we serve people here in Alameda County. We do prevention, early intervention, counseling services, as well as different types of workshop, psychoeducation, support groups like this one, as well as cultural educational workshops. I am one of many of our team. My name is Kevin Nuato. I'm sorry, I'll just start off with introducing myself. I'm the pastoral care counselor as well as a data clerk here with the Pacific Islander Wellness Initiative. We are funded by Prop 63 and Alameda County Behavioral Health. We are a program of the Richmond Area Multi-Services out of San Francisco. But the unique thing about our program is that we serve Pacific Islanders, and we're actually located outside of San Francisco. We're the only program of RAMS that's located in the East Bay. And so to be able to serve in this capacity to Pacific Islanders and be on this radio talk show tonight, thank you very much for the opportunity. And then I'll yield time over to my colleague, Salote.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. Hi, everyone. My name is Salote Ludui. I am the mental health specialist, which means I am the therapist that sees our community, the Tongan community here in the Alameda County area. And a little bit about what I do. I see individuals for anxiety, for stress, and families. I do family therapy. I do couples counseling as well, and youth counseling as well. And this is just the beginning step. This is preventative. So if we can prevent a mental illness or suicide, that's why our program is here, free of service. It doesn't cost anything, but it's free for our community. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting us, and we look forward to spending a good amount of time together this evening. Malo.
Malo, Salote. Iris?
Kevin, I'm not sure if you touched base on your role as pastoral care counselor.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So this role is actually very new. So one of the approaches to provide mental health services is through spiritual care. And so pastoral care counseling is a contextualized type of service that the PEV program was able to adopt. And so we have this position where a lot of people, because of the fact that we're communal people, we're very tied to a specific, certain religion, whatever the walk of life may be. Spirituality is a major part for all Pacific Islanders, and it's very universal. So this is one of the many ways that mental health services, prevention, early intervention is offered through the Pacific Islander Wellness Initiative. Some of the groups that I hold are groups for clergy members, providing ways for them to offer services or be effective individuals in their communities and their congregations of how to provide mental health services to their congregants. And if also providing the support that they need in case situations come up around mental health challenges or illnesses that they're not aware of and they need support of. So we serve as the link, and then I work very closely with Salote to provide the type of mental health services that she actually offers as well throughout the program. But the main focus is the specialty that Salote offers with regards to providing mental health services as a therapist.
Thank you, Kevin. Iris?
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Salote. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Today, our topic is on mental health resources and coping techniques. So now we will go into our topic for today. Mata, would you like to just ask these questions and also translate these questions for the group? Salote and Kevin will be adding their input tonight for us, as well as the other participants.
I think Mata has disappeared for a little bit, so I'm going to take on.
Okay, go ahead.
The first question, oh, there she is.
That's okay. Go ahead, Lefa.
What could mental health resources look like for Pacific Islanders? That's the first question. What could mental health resources look like for Pacific Islanders? Anyone can jump in. Okay, I think what we need and what we're always talking about and hoping and praying for, Kevin, is that we're able to have like an example would be Salote and Kevin, because we're Pacific Islanders and religion is very much part of our lives. And when we talk about the wellness of our mental health, it has to do with church. Church helps a lot with their programs and the things that they can do, and sometimes we relied on the church to offer us resources that we could use that we go for when we go for counseling, and when we talk about our mental health, I mean, it's such a vast thing that we talk about, because it covers just about every aspect of our lives. And for us Pacific Islanders, where there is a very much need for us to sit down and have this talk, to roll out that mat and sit down and discuss. And there are things that we need in our lives. And usually in Tonga, there is a provision for that. Like in the family, you have your elders, but sometimes that's missing from our lives here in America. And so one of the things that I hope for is this, like the Pacific Islander Health Initiative, that would produce resources that we could use, because sometimes we need that help, and we need from someone who knows us, who looks like us, who speaks like us. And when we see that, and it gives us hope that it's not whaapalangi thing, because we always think that the way we do things is not the same as how the palangis do their stuff. And I think that's one of the biggest needs that we have, is because we need someone like Salote, who is a mental health specialist. And we need someone like Kevin, who is a graduate, a university graduate, and he is like a minister that deals with these issues. And I think we need that not in just a couple of churches, but every church should have that. Because I think one of the, in my observation, one of the saddest things that you can come across is when you see the need for people to sit down and talk and address issues. And there's no one. And there's no one to be there to help you. Because we can go to palangis, but for some reason, having someone that looks like you, talks like you, even goes to the same church.
But I think, Lefa, that the problem here, ko parparema ko tau tolko me Pasifiki, o tau ilo pe tau tole feitu u koe ke tau o ma toko ni mei, but we don't want to. You know what? So what is the problem with our people? O koe ke tau fio tau tole, we don't want to seek services. Sometimes we do know where to get the help, but we don't go after it. Why?
I think it's because this has been stigmatized through our lives. And it didn't just start, it was just the way it was since time began, I think, for Pacific Islanders. And I think this is just me and my thinking, that because it's a disease that we couldn't figure out, we don't know what it is, but it's something that we actually witness happening in our communities, in our families. And it's quite scary. It is so scary. And so it becomes stigmatized and nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to hide it. And it's so stigmatized that that even if you're a young woman, and let's say you have someone who's interested in you, but if there's mental illness in his family, your family would be up in arms to stop you. And so those are some of the stigmas and issues that we're trying to address, that we try to talk about. And that's why I'm so glad that Dr. Mapa is with us today. And, he can tell us maybe things that we never think of. Maybe things that are so common, it's right under our noses, but we don't know. And so, and I think, I'm so glad that Kevin and Ruth are both here when Dr. Mapa is on, because you can ask your questions. You're professionals.
Yeah. I just want to chime in. Sorry. I wanted, what could mental health resources look like for Pacific Islanders? There's a generational differences, right? For Tongans specifically coming from Tonga, and then they have kids raised in America. I think there has to be what is the word? A balance between the old school, those who came straight from Tonga, and those who had kids here in America, Tongan Americans who are aware of these resources, helping their parents, helping their aunties, educating them. I think educating our elders, or educating our parents and aunties about the positives of having mental health resources, and that they're available, and some of them are free. And it's really just kind of guiding them to the resources, right? So it's a team effort. It's like a village effort. If we all have this mentality of hey, I want to help my family. Hey cousin, can you help me? Like, this is a free resource. Or I know this Tongan lady that works in the county or in the hospital. They can translate. A big barrier of not utilizing mental health resources or resources in general is the language barrier, right? So you have the language barrier that creates fear in the older generation, but also too with their kids. They're leaning on their kids to translate what's the information mean, and right. And as kids, we're gonna look out for our parents, our elders, in translating the right information, right? And then when we are going to someone that we trust, that look like us, that know the culture, I feel like the generational balance between those coming from Tonga and those raised in the United States, there's a healthy balance, right? But yeah, so I think that's what it could look like. And it is a village. It takes a village, right, to get help. It's not one person doing this. This is not the westernized world. This is the collective of the Islander mentality and spirit, right? Is helping, right, and getting help, and being humble enough to ask for help.
I would also like to chime in too, because a lot of the times we kind of, as Pacific Islanders, and to touch on the point that Salute made with regards to balance, a lot of the times we err to the side of spirituality when it comes to fixing things, quote unquote. And to be quite honest, we overly use spirituality in a sense that there is no balance. So we're also looking at that type of balance, of the balance of secularism and spirituality. Sometimes we weigh too heavy on spirituality, but we don't check the different points of spirituality that can hinder wellness. So what ends up happening is that you get all of this help, going to church and being a fundamentalist, but then you end up experiencing church hurt. So then where do you go to get help? And so the point that I'm trying to make here is making sure that there's a balance there's a good, healthy relationship between the secular part of mental health resources and also the spirituality part. We've got the spirituality part locked down because we're very spiritual people. And like Salute already mentioned, we're very communal people. But then we kind of are iffy on the part of how does mental health look for therapy for me? Because all we know is a Palangi version of what's put on TV. But the good thing about mental health resources is that it's contextual. What I mean by contextual is that it can be made relevant based off of the context in which PIs live. So because we're communal people, there's also ways that we can create mental health resources that gives us options to actually either do a group communal type of therapy, which would look like something like a group where everyone experiences a common mental struggle or challenge, right? And they're meeting in a group with the therapist like Salute to talk things through. Or if it's like a prayer meeting where you can meet up with me as a pastoral care counselor to talk things through and utilize spiritualities to weave us in and out through our mental health challenges. So the good thing about the program that we're actually working for is not because I'm employed by PEV, but the good thing and the design about it is because there's options. There's options of what mental health resources would look like for PIs, for Pacific Islanders. You have the option of coming through to just get enough information from a workshop. You can sit in on a one-on-one with a mental health specialist. You can even come in and just have a little, stop and be like, hey, Kev, can you just pray for me for today just to keep me going? And that can be an option too. Mental health can look very simple as not only seeing PIs that are actually in the field, but it can be as simple as checking in with you with a regular phone call. How are you doing today? What did you do today to check in on yourself to make sure that what you're doing is very productive? It can be as simple as a phone call, or it could be as complex as meeting in a group setting on a weekly basis for a month or two, talking about a mental health challenge. So what mental health resources look like can vary because of the fact that we're able to contextualize, make relevant to relate to us. Even the option of seeing someone that's a PI. I know Mata even have pointed out too that, we know the resources, it's out there, but some people don't even want to do it because of the fact that, there's also different types of taboos around, confidentiality being breached because of the fact that, maybe this PI person is going to go tell such and such and they're going to know my business. But the idea of mental health resources is to help build awareness. So that way, how to support someone who's living and experiencing a mental health challenge, but also if you too are experiencing a mental health challenge, what can you do to effectively help yourself?
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. I totally agree with everything Kevin is saying, and especially the part about making the mental health relevant and making your resources relevant. For example, some of the things that we are doing in our everyday life can be used as taking care of our mental health, such as dancing or making lays. Hobbies like that can help us, take our mind off things and help us relieve from stress. Kevin and Salate touched on a lot of the points here. Our PIs utilizing mental health resources and how can we access them. They touched on pretty much all of these questions. So I will go ahead, and if nobody has anything else about mental health resources, I'll pose one quick question to Charlotte and Kevin. For anybody that's interested in using your resources and meeting with you guys, how can they get in touch with you or set an appointment with you?
Thanks, Iris. Our information is at the end of the PowerPoint. They can call me directly. I can put my information in the chat. We do have our office number, but I do want to emphasize that PIs are utilizing our therapy services. Our program has been here for 4 years, and the stigma is slowly breaking. There's more and more people coming with a variety of different issues. I'm seeing a lot of individuals, a lot of couples and families, and so PIs are utilizing it, and I'm seeing that it's more so the younger people, right? And then with families, it's the younger people initiating, hey, I want family therapy for my family. So it's even that, the younger generation doing kind of the work and trying to meet the need of, hey, we got some stuff to talk about, and they're utilizing it. So PIs are utilizing it, and it's more so the younger generation, but it's also trickling down to the older generation. But it takes more work, more patience to get the older generation, like our parents and grandparents, to these resources that are available for free. But yeah, we're here located in Hayward, off of Foothill and Jackson. Anyone living in the Alameda area, please feel free to come to our office. All is welcome, and know that you're coming with no judgments. I think that's the biggest barrier too, is people might feel judged when they come through the door, or feel ashamed that they're coming through the door. But there's no need, because we're all Pacific Islanders here in the office, and we know all we do appreciate and are humbled and honored that you come through the door anyways. So yeah.
Yeah, and my information is listed there. You can definitely reach out to Taulama, our health network, because you guys are a very close partner with us, as you guys serve as our community partners for the program. One thing I would add to the question of our PIs utilizing mental health resources is how many PIs know that there are mental health resources that are readily available to them in their respective counties. That's another thing that we need to keep in mind, because a lot of times we're not located everywhere. We're just up and coming. So reach out and know that there is help, and that you're not alone. For those who are watching or tuning in that have lived experience or are currently wrestling with mental health challenges, you are definitely not alone. There is hope. And one of the good facets of recovery is the hope factor. So knowing that you're not alone and that we are one of the many resources, and even if you don't want to directly come to us, please reach out to Taulama, because they also are community partners that are well integrated into the different communities that they participate in within the different counties, and they can also provide other resources that can better assist you if PEV is not a best fit for you.
Thank you, Kevin. Before I move on, I just also wanted to point out the pictures here. This is also what mental health looks like for our PI people, is, just sitting around and talking with their family, talking with their friends, sharing experiences, sharing stories. And the bottom picture is just bonding over food and eating and talking, and again, sharing our stories. I will go ahead and move on to the next slide. The next portion of our Talano for Wellness is talking about coping techniques. What, in your guys' experience, what are coping techniques? Why are coping techniques necessary for our mental health? And we can open it up for anybody if they want to share a practice that they do to cope and relieve mental health challenges, for example, like praying or listening to music. And I'll pass the time back to you all. feel free to share or not share. Sorry.
Coping techniques is just another word to say, what do you like to do? What decreases your stress, right? There's exercise, taking a bath, positive self-talk in the mirror, and all of these, as you mindfulness, working on time management, asking for help. It could vary based on what you like, right? Listening to music, laughing with your family and friends, sports, watching sports, playing video games. For the older people is really talking to other elders and reminiscing about memories and talking about Tonga and all of the good stuff. It's relieving the stress with what you need, and a good night rest is part of it too. Getting a good night rest and preserving your energy is good as well. And those are some of coping techniques that you can utilize throughout the day. And it's individually, it's based on what you like, right? And so these are just some that we've posed here on the PowerPoint slide. But yeah, this is catered to you individually.
Ai ko motolo mo whanonga mai, ko slide ko ni ko ngahi fo ngai ni o whakahoko ke whakasisi ia I ngahi palapalema ko ia kapako hataha wahana ngahi palapalema whakaata mai, whenga ta ia whakaata mai. Ko ngahi fo ngai ni ko tuku mai kau matao ke lava ke tau whakaaunga hange ko a te whakamalosino pe ko te teu iha ngahi ke te lava alo kau pe ko te talanoa ke hatoko taha ko to ngahi kau ngame pe ko te whakalau loto pe ko te hanga o whenga I ke te ngawe akirerei hoto taimi pe te kumi hangahi ngahi tokoni whakai ket kakai ke nau tokoni mai ke kita pe mo toi palani iang te mo'ui he ko taim ko te palani ia te mo'ui o kuni hangai whakasi ai loto mafas ai loto kakas whakaputonga stress I lea wha loto ta mia ko loto hoha he taim ko te lava ke te palani te mo'ui pe te lava ke te mui ke te palani ko ai ko ngai fonga ko ni toko nia ke kita ke whakasisi ai te loto mafasia po te loto hoha. Ai ko whakatonga ai ke ai. I'm just translating the slide.
Thank you, Martha. To piggyback off of what Martha translated into the Tongan language and also what Lotte had pointed out, pretty much is very important. Coping, one of the things as a mental health instructor that I do always emphasize is self-care. And self-care in two parts is, either physical self-care, like what Lotte had talked about, exercising, giving yourself a pep talk. And then there's also the mental and the emotional self part of it, like meditating, spending time outside under the sun, listening to music, time for yourself, doing a mental, mindful self-check of yourself, just to check in on your body and stuff. These are all very important coping techniques to engage in. Not only it can be very simple ones, but it's very important because they're necessary, because depending on what you do and how often you do it, it can definitely affect your mental health. A point in case would be, so if you're sleeping all day, of course you get the rest that you need. But if you're oversleeping, definitely would affect your mental health. So learning to balance that out, like little simple things like that, timing yourself, going to bed on time or getting enough 8 hours sleep, for yourself, so that way you can re-energize yourself. So coping techniques, one thing I would want to add is that you do something very healthy if it helps develop your self-wellness would be considered a coping technique. The only thing I would err to caution is because a lot of people think coping would mean, okay, go and have a drink or 2 or 4 or 5 or 10. That's the way that they cope, which is reality. Some people smoke. They smoke cigarettes incessantly, over and over just because they're stressed, quote unquote. If it's harming yourself physically or mentally, it's not a coping mechanism. And so it's just to help put into perspective that you find healthy ways to cope or healthy techniques. And sometimes it can even be going to bingo. Some people go to bingo from Monday to Sunday, but that's okay. But if you're going to bingo and you're spending your rent money, you're spending your food money, your electricity bill, that would be problematic because it's impacting your mental health. So things like that to keep in mind of how to gauge coping techniques. For me, one of the very fun things that I like to do to practice self-care is talking with my parents. Even though I hear the same stories over and over, I like to hear them talk about the genealogy of where I come from as a Samoan and where our family names comes from. I heard it time and time again, but I like to hear it from them because it gives me some type of joy and connectedness to my parents, especially in their old age, because my parents they're well in their 80s, and I always want them to be reminded that even in their old age, they still have a lot to offer me as their child. So,
yeah. One of the techniques that I learned from our retreat today, Cecilia can agree to that, is dancing. Shake it out. Like if you're stressed out about shake it out. Let the toxic that's in your body out. Okay? So that's one thing I learned from the retreat we did today with our department. Dance to it and shake it out. Toxic gitu. Ai ko ete whakakaukau meanga ko ete stressy gitu. That's one thing I learned. Benefits of teaching coping strategies. Yeah.
Thank you. You guys put out a lot of great information. I think what I'm thinking of, social media, can be damaging. For some people, instead of seeking help for mental health services, they turn to drugs, which I've worked or I've spoken with a lot of PIs, and most of them were telling me, oh, this is better to take this than to seek services. This is going to make you feel like you feel good and all that stuff. So I feel like sometimes social media is people rely on that so much without following the guidelines and ask questions what's best for you, especially maybe the younger generation. Yeah.
Thank you guys all for your input.
Welcome.
Lefa, do you have anything to add before we move on? Oh, you're muted.
Lefa, unmute, please.
I wanted to remind you that Dr. Mapapuloka is waiting. Did you tell me that he was already in?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't see him anymore, so that's why I'm taking up some time because I don't see him on anymore.
Yeah, he disappeared.
So I've been trying to fill the time.
I saw him earlier, but he disappeared. Okay. That's okay. We can continue.
We are close to 10 minutes left. We don't have much time left, but If anybody else would like to share, if not, I'll pass the time to Kevin or Salote to talk about the event that they have coming up on Saturday.
All right, so just in case you do have any questions, feel free to stop me, or any comments about the topic that Iris and Mata has been facilitating this evening. But this Saturday, if you're in the Hayward area, we will be hosting our first annual PI Wellness Day, and we've quoted it, "You owe it to yourself to be well." So that'll be from 11 to 3, and it'll be over at the Hayward Veterans Building. It's very informal. Just we'll have a lot of resource tables of cultural activities, wellness activities. We'll have a couple of demos of hot hula, Siva for wellness, as well as a cool DJ. And we'll also have like different types of activities that you can do to help encourage and also inspire the increase of building awareness and why it's necessary to hone in and focus in on your wellness and make sure that you're well. Bring your families and friends. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll see you there on this coming Saturday. If you have any questions, the flyer is listed there on the screen, or if not, feel free to reach out to us at pev@rams.inc.org, or you can even reach out to one of our community partners, Iris or Maata or Ruth, and we'll be more than happy to assist you with any answers and responses to your inquiries. So we hope to see you there.
Thank you so much, Kevin. We are up to 10 minutes. If we don't have anything else to share, I will pass the time to Mata to close us out.
Oh, that was quick. I don't think Lefa is on still. Did she go out? Anyways, I would like to thank Kevin, Salote, and for coming in and helping out with the Talanoa wellness information that was shared tonight. I'm sure that if there are any questions coming in Tongan, then we will be able to answer them back in Tongan. So thank you so very much, and also to the rest of the Taulama group, Ruthie and Iris, and also to Lefa, who came in to facilitate our program for tonight. One thing that I wanted to share, and if I may say it in Tongan, because I know that a lot of listeners, I don't know if, but I've been approached by a lot of Tongan people, and they've told me that they have listened to our program. And I want to say something about Medi-Cal in Tongan to the listeners, if I may. Ko programa ko ni Medi-Cal o si whakangofua mai ke agulava pe ke te apply ke Medi-Cal ka pau te ta uano ke ta whahiva. Tau bebe ta uano ki whai ki olunga te lava pe ke te mau ha te full scope Medi-Cal o ka pau te ke apply ko ki to e aia pe ku ke pepa pe ku ke ta e pepa. Ai ko whenga maari e ka mataia i sanuari a uruaki o i wanoa wafa. Ka paurewa ku ke whie mau ke ai ha Medi-Cal. Te ke lava pe ko apply he taimini, ka te ke apply ko he protocol, he prokalama ko protocol. Ka koe hao koe ki he a uruaki o sanuari o wanoa wafa, o ku ka matai o hata whainga maari ka te koe pe o ke ta uaono o whaiki o lunga, ke lava ke apply ke Medi-Cal ke mau ha full scope Medi-Cal. Ka pau ku waha a whehui pa ke telefone mai ke au pu ko sigilia ke lava ke te o hata e whakaiki ke whika waki mapua kalama koe. So I was just telling everybody about how the program, the Medi-Cal program, starting in January of next year, 2024. Everyone is eligible for Medi-Cal from age 26 and above. It doesn't matter if you are documented or undocumented. You get full scope Medi-Cal if you are 26 years old and above, starting on 1st January 2024. But you can still apply for Medi-Cal to get full scope if you're under 50, but using the PRU-Call program. But this is good news for all of you who want to apply for Medi-Cal. If you're 26 and above, beginning January 1st of 2024, everybody is qualified to get Medi-Cal, unless you make too much money. So that's the good news for this coming year, for all those, so you can pass the message along to any of your friends or family members who are needing Medi-Cal. Then they are qualified from 26 to and above years old. I think that's about it. What time is it?
Really quickly, Kevin and Salote, while we're talking about insurance, is there any insurance, if you'd like to tell the viewers, is there any insurance needed to access your guys' resources?
Is there what? I'm sorry?
No. Yeah, Lotte touched on it. It's free services.
Yeah. No insurance needed for Pacific Islander Wellness Initiative program. Ako programa ko ko PEWE, ay ko na ko te programa ko poni o ku tatotong ina service. Ko yai kapau o ku ke firma o hatokoni feka aki mohanga fenga ta ia fakai atamai. Mo kata ko fitu ta mai ke fika ko ni ihe ai hat screen ko ni matahanoa valu ni maono hiva fitu wano noa pe ko address pena asia tu o ko office ihe Foothill Boulevard I he woti wo fitu tahawa Foothill Boulevard I he woti ai ko fenga marien ka te tautol ka Tonga tau monuia o kia ya Salote aku lava ke hanga to ke tokoni ki tautol ka pehefo ke Kevin ia fainga tokoni pe tau firma feka aki pa moe fainga ta ia fakai atamai pera pa o ku ka ke fieta ko ke office ka ke fitu ta ki mai ke au telefon mai ka te au ke hanga fa fitu ta ki ko ke office ka pa ka ke lava ko o fitu ta. So I'm just telling them, Salote, if they prefer to communicate to you in Tongan, they can call me, and I can call with them.
Yeah,
I can help to translate if needed.
Yeah.
So ko yo ke fie ma ke ngai tokon ko ni hele fratonga te malava pe mosilia o morefa o translate ke le fratonga ka pa ke fie ma tokon. I think that's it. Thank you so very much ke ka whanongo for maloa tu ko hi ke formulava me mai he poni ke proklama ko e taulama mai tonga pe te tau fi taulaki pe I he wiki tahau I he taimi tatau ke toi tau mini te wha ka kusai pe ko ina tuka te whainga maari ke te whawhoka te taimi ke Iris. Do you have anything else to say?
Kevin and Salote, for joining us. Thank you, Celia, for having our PEV team on. And yeah, thank you so much. That's it from me.
We were hoping that Dr. Mapa would still be online, but I think he might have stepped out and didn't remember that this was just a 1 hour program.
Yeah, I seen him drop off earlier when Lefa was still talking, so that's why I was trying to make up the time because I know he wasn't going to be on and seeing that he wasn't on anymore.
Okay, all right. So we'll keep inviting him, but he's like what Lefa said. He's the only psychiatrist in Tonga. He joined us a couple of weeks ago, but he has the link to the program, so he's welcomed anytime he could jump on, to help us, share some of the experiences that he has back home in the islands. So it's always good to hear what's going on back in the islands with regard to mental health, because it's different, the way they're approaching things back home than how we do things here in the States. So, but it's good to hear from both sides. To how they deal with how he deals with his psych unit in the hospital. The only one hospital in Tonga. They have a psych unit. I can't remember how many are in the psych unit when the last time he spoke. I think there are about 30, 35 beds, but it's always good to hear from him, and I hope that he can come on in our future program. So we'll keep inviting him. Thank you so very much. I think that's it for tonight. It's good to see all of you.
Right. Thank you so much.
We need to have a Pacific Islander Wellness Initiative retreat. It's long overdue, right? Yeah. So thank you so very much, and we'll turn the time back to. We're right on time. It's 8:59.
Thank you for coming on.
We always run out of time in our past programs. So, yeah. But tonight we're very much in the English time, not the Pacific Islander time. Right, Kevin? Okay. Thank you very much, Malo.
Thank you so much.
Malo, and good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you.
Here.
Emily, maulava.
Io malo apito o fatu.
O fatu. Good night.
O fatu
Yeah.
motor.
Night.
Iya.